Welcome. This is a series of audiobooks and insightful lectures brought to you by Akanksha, dedicated to exploring timeless wisdom and spiritual teachings. Each recording is created with love, honoring my journey and my connection with higher guidance, especially in tribute to my son, Arnav, who now guides me from beyond. May these words awaken divine love within you, bringing peace and inspiration to your path. May the divine light within shine brightly, and may the merit of these offerings benefit all sentient beings. The Astral World by Paramahansa Yogananda. At death we go to the astral world. Until you know your spiritual nature is connected with that divine creative force, what a mystery this life is. Today you are here and tomorrow you are gone. When you pass over to the life after death, this whole world will become as a dream to you. You don't grieve when you have to change a worn-out coat you have been wearing. How foolish it is to think that this body, the overcoat worn by your soul, will be permanent. It seems real now, but it will disappear. Then where will your soul go? To the astral world, the heavenly realm of light and indestructible life, the realm of vibratory life energy hidden behind the veil of the gross material universe. Light is the real essence of everything. This earth is not earth as you see it, it is light. Your true nature. From the astral world we come at birth, and there we shall return at death. Someone asked me why we should try to connect with the astral world now. To this I reply, because that is where you will realize the freedom of your true nature. You were there as a soul cloaked in an astral form to start with, and because you are not there now and have lost that memory is why all your misery persists. By entering that other world, we learn the causes and healing of all suffering and diseases. We discover the secret of our existence, what happens after death, and where we were before birth, and how to live in the material world without losing our divine connection. This world has a lot of limitations and the astral world has none. When a soul leaves the expansiveness of the astral world to be born on earth, that human baby finds himself restricted and confined in the mother's womb and wants to get out of it but can't. For 9 months he has to wait. Then he is subjected to the helplessness of infancy. As he grows into adolescence he must fight his way through passions and emotions, which if he doesn't control will get him into all kinds of misery. Then he marries, struggles to support a family, and perhaps is happy for a little while, but as he gets older everything starts to go wrong with his body machine and eventually he dies. Every day this drama of mortal limitations, whatever be its minor variations, is playing itself out in your life, and still you cling to this world as most desirable. It is not. If you could perceive the astral world, you would know that it is infinitely more real than the earth plane, which is just inert matter without the enlivening powers of the upholding astral world. Material existence is only a shadow of that higher, finer dimension of reality. This world is the result of the astral world. The blueprints of everything in the physical universe have been astrally conceived. All the forms and forces in nature, including the complex human body, have been first produced in that realm where God's causal ideations are made visible in forms of heavenly light and vibratory energy. Then they are materialized in physical form out of the ether. But the astral body of man and the astral counterparts of everything in nature are vastly more beautiful, more vibrant, more expressive of the harmony and perfection of the divine creator than what we perceive when our consciousness is limited to matter. The astral world is not the ultimate liberating experience. The soul attains complete ascension only through realization of its oneness with the Creator himself. Nevertheless, soul progress begins with the effort to disengage from the delusion of material bondage into the higher awareness of one's finer astral existence. Learn to be more transcendent now, identify with the life of your astral self and its connection with the astral world. How to get to that higher plane? In thought you are always there, but because you are so identified with the physical perceptions of your thoughts, the underlying astral world that powers those thoughts and perceptions is not as real to you. Your soul sojourns there every night when you are asleep, only you are not conscious of it. For just a little while during wakefulness the soul is in the material environment. The rest of the time it is in the astral. Whenever you are using the subconscious mind, dreaming or employing its creative power of visions and visualization, you are to some degree in the astral world. So it isn't that you do not get there. You are always there, unknowingly linked with the astral source from which the life and intelligence and sensory powers of your physical body are constantly flowing. You are working from that astral plane. Even though you think you are a material being dependent on the material world, you are not. You should learn to get acquainted with your real base of operations. Suppose you have 2 houses, one in the slums where there is constantly turmoil and fighting going on, and another in the beautiful section of town where there is order and harmony. When you go to your better home, you find peace and contentment. That is what I urge you. Live in the consciousness of your finer astral body rather than slumming in the physical. Portal to the astral world, meditation. As long as you enslave yourself to the demands and desires of the physical body, so long you are in for trouble, much trouble. Why are you so attached to the body? Only because you have chosen to be. Meditation is nothing magical, it is the natural process of doing away with attachment to the flesh and transferring your consciousness to the spiritual side of your nature. We meditate not only for the peace and joy and happiness it brings, but also to free ourselves from the limitations of material existence. Healing and life energy, Prana. The body is a remarkable machine, normally it keeps on running for decades. Yet it is still a nest of troubles. Heat and cold, disease and weakness and pain, are always assailing it. The doctor, like the mechanic who repairs automobiles, can often repair the body. But the real control of the physical body is in the astral world. With many chronic diseases, no doctor knows what to do to effect a cure, because any trouble of karmic origin deeply imprinted in the astral body cannot be healed by purely physical means. The cure lies in employing the proper flow of subtle life energy and consciousness from the astral body and astral plane. Just as when the lights in your house go out, you have to check the wiring back to the dynamo. If there is something wrong there, the whole electrical system of the house will be out of order. So with chronic disorders of the physical body, you have to repair your flawed connection with the astral body dynamo of power. When modern science will discover how to go deep into the subtle electromagnetic constitution of man, it will be able to correct most any medical condition in ways that would seem almost miraculous today. In the future, healing will be affected more and more by use of various types of light rays. Light is what we are made of, not gross physical light, but the finer spiritualized light of prana, intelligent life energy. That light is the real essence of everything. This earth is not earth as you see it, it is light. But you cannot perceive that until you know the underlying astral world, the law of duality and relativity, Maya. Everything in the material world is a copy of its counterpart in the astral world, but the material manifestation is a gross one, limited and distorted by the law of relativity. The principle of duality or relativity is inherent in creation. Shadow as well as light is necessary to apprehend a universe of separate forms and creatures. Relativity operates in the astral world too, but on that plane there are no fixed limitations, everything is perceived as different vibrations of light, not else. In the material world, delusion is deeply embedded in that law of relativity, preventing the physical consciousness from understanding things as they really are. You don't perceive things in their essence as light because the instrumentality of your physical senses is too gross. You instead experience the relative difference between solids, liquids, and gases as so radical that if you leave the solid shore and try to walk across the liquid ocean, you drown. In the astral world, even though you can cognize the shore as solid and the ocean as liquid, there is no drowning in the astral liquid. You differentiate the solids from the liquids only as varying vibrations of light, which do not clash with each other. You can glide just as easily through solid light and liquid light. Or you can walk on liquid light in your solid body of light, as Jesus showed when he walked on the water. To him, both his body and the sea were naught but relativities of astral light, which he could alter at will by the power of mind. He demonstrated that a fully God-realized master can control the astral light underlying material creation. That is how he performed his miracles, such as healing the sick and raising the dead, feeding multitudes with a few loaves and fishes, and resurrecting his own body. There is not one human experience you can think of for which the astral world has not an exact duplicate. You can experience birth and death and marriage and disease and everything that you see in the physical world. Relativities of light can create sensations and perceptions experienced as real. In the material world, because the law of relativity is so heavily laden with delusive power, man is constrained by those realities. In the astral world, everything is changeable at the command of the mind. How important it is to live in that finer realm. I'm all the time there, even now as I am talking to you. Such happiness comes, there are no words I can use to describe it to you. In this gross world, you get tired of everything, even the most enjoyable things eventually become tedious or boring. But in the astral world the creations of your will are ever new. You will never tire of that world. If you want to be young you can be so. If you want to appear as a man or as a woman or in any form you wish, you can do so. You do not have to worry about money for your needs, a mere command of your will provides whatever you want. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to do that here? This earth is so limited, some persons have plenty while others starve. But in the heavenly astral world there are no such inequities, every being has according to his desire. If you want an opulent palace, it is there for you. If you want snow or heat or light or rain, you can have it just by the power of thought. With astral light, the mind can create anything. You are free from all limitations when you know the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, which is behind this world. Nature of God. Is God a hoary man sitting on a throne at some point in space, surrounded by winged harp-playing angels? That is a limited concept held by some dogmatists whose understanding cannot conceive the real nature of God as spirit, the infinite absolute. Men without wisdom consider me, the unmanifest, as assuming embodiment, like a mortal being taking a form, not understanding my unsurpassable state, my unchangeable unutterable nature. I, the unchanging and everlasting, sustain and permeate the entire cosmos with but one fragment of my being. The Bhagavad Gita 7:24 and X:42. The invisible God, however, can also become visible. Saints who by samadhi meditation have gone into the astral heaven, higher than the ordinary astral world where most souls go after death, tell us that God is not only formless but that he takes form also. In fact, it is that one spirit who has become everything in this universe. He is not only the impersonal absolute, he can also be very personal, manifesting as the Heavenly Father or the Divine Mother or in any deity form that his devotees want to see. But he cannot be limited to a form. In spirit, God and all his angels are absolutely one. Likewise, no delusion of separation or finitude is imposed on those souls who have found their final liberation. But because souls retain their individuality, they can reappear from the light of spirit as separate forms. At the time when a soul is liberated and returns to God, the Lord and his ascended saints take individualized forms, and there is great rejoicing and festivity, a wondrous celebration in the supernal astral heaven of celestial beauty and bliss. In that paradise, if there were only the one light of undifferentiated spirit, there would be no guests, no food, and therefore no festivity. Just as the one beam of light from a movie projector, passing through a film of individualized images, can show a grand festivity of interacting characters on the screen, so in the heavenly celebrations everything is made of light. God, in a deity form, the angels, the devotees, all are made of the inconceivably subtle light of pure consciousness, differentiated by their own will into individualized forms. When the celebration concludes, they dissolve themselves again into the ecstatic bliss of undifferentiated oneness, merging into the one light, one spirit. There are no limitations, no forced routine, in heaven. Advanced astral beings can order their environment and actions just as they please. It is freedom eternal. If you want to go to the farthest star, traveling through the ether faster than light, you are allowed to do so. You can be a star, a human being, an angel, anything you want to be, all at will. These are some of the advantages of the ultimate realms of the astral world. Of course, most souls after death do not ascend straightway to the kingdom of God. They go to one of the higher or lower regions of the ordinary astral universe, as determined by their good or bad karma, and after a time reincarnate on earth. Souls who have been evil, or who have strong material desires and attachments, must come back soon to work out their materialistic karmic burden. Souls who were fairly virtuous on earth have the chance to stay longer in the better astral regions, and when they reincarnate on earth again they have an inborn impetus toward self-improvement and spiritual progress. The astral world consists of graduated levels of greater or lesser spiritual refinement. In my Father's house there are many mansions, John 14:2. Higher than the ordinary astral world are the various levels of the astral heaven reached by very advanced souls. These are discussed in detail in Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, chapter 43, and the second coming of Christ, the resurrection of the Christ within you, discourse 10. Live in astral freedom now. We go to the astral world automatically after death, but why wait for death when you can have that greater freedom now, even while living in the physical body? Unless you are somewhat advanced, your astral sojourn in the after-death state may be more like a rejuvenating sleep with astral dreams interspersed with short periods of conscious astral wakefulness until you wake up in your next earthly reincarnation. But if you can consciously get into the astral world now, you will be able to go there consciously after death, and you will be able to come back again to earth consciously when the time is right for you to continue your lessons in the school of earth life. And when your earthly karma is burned up, you will enter the astral heaven and never have to take another forced earthly incarnation. Everything is made out of one light. What is the use of giving so much of your attention to this world? I am not wasting my time here. Because I made the necessary effort in meditation to find God, even when I am working in the fields or mixing with people I behold that great light. Such joy, Every minute, every second, no matter what I am doing. Once in a while I feel I am in this world, and once in a while the Lord withdraws my spirit in ecstasy, and my body is lifeless. There is no wind, there is no body, there is no sunlight, there is no ocean, there is no breath, there is no temple. There is just one light, that light eternal. And then as my consciousness comes down I see that light change itself into the temple, into the wind, the ocean, and into my body. It is like the movies. The one beam of light is throwing all those different scenes on the screen. How pure is this light, how powerful, and how terrible is the movie which it throws on the screen. That is how life is. When we keep our minds on the light, it is wonderful. But when we concentrate on the world, we are caught up in the terrible drama of delusion. Until you realize this through meditation, the world is a prison, all trouble and disease and disappointment. Most of the people are poor. Most of the people are sick. Most of the people are unhappy. You may think you are all right now, but you don't know what might happen to you the next minute. Why don't you seek to know your real self, cloaked in light in the astral world, instead of being subject to 1,000 sufferings in this gross world? Body is not well, eyesight is going, stomach is weak. Why should we tolerate these things? We have subjected our souls to such delusion. Everyone looks for the latest diet or vitamin to be a little stronger, a little healthier. But all these things you make such a fuss about will sooner or later fail you. That is why Jesus said, "Take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for the body, what ye shall put on." Now do you understand why he said that? He wanted us to concentrate on the unlimited divine source of life, not on matter. Think of those in Europe whose lives and homes are being destroyed by the bombs of war. World War II, this earth is perpetually a place of war, the battle of good and evil inherent in physical creation. Bombs of suffering are falling everywhere. The animals fight and eat one another, and supposedly superior man behaves no better. If you were animals, you would say, "This is my cave, and if any other animal comes near me I will kill it." That is how territorial nations are fighting today. But where will the instigators be 100 years hence? They will be gone from this earth, and it will have no more importance to them than a forgotten dream. Man should rather use his brief span here to achieve something lasting, to find freedom in God. The only purpose of life is to get away from the delusion of this material world. Wait no longer. How dare you forget God? I testify to you of the existence of God's astral kingdom. Now why don't you seek it? You are always trying to create that picture of perfection here on earth, but it is fruitless. You will never succeed, for this world is a place of too many limitations. That utopian dream is but the lost forgotten memory of your experience of the astral world. Methinks that sometime, somewhere beyond the sky, in a little kingdom all my own, I built a castle of my dreams, a beautiful garden paradise all my own. Methinks I live there long in perfect happiness. These kinds of dream imaginings are subconsciously present in the minds of everyone. And there is a way to realize those dreams. Imagination is not unreal, it is the borderland of what is yet to be real. Everything you imagine can be created by a will that is guided by wisdom. Jules Verne wrote wonderful books of science fiction, but today those imaginings are real. Think of all the wonders that once were considered fantasy but have now come true. Somebody imagined the automobile and someone else imagined electric lights and another imagined the airplane and so on, and now these marvelous inventions are commonplace. How to materialize your dreams. Imagination is a portal through which you can transcend the imposed limitations of this world. All creative persons use this power. With wisdom and will, whatever you can imagine, and continue to imagine, can become real. I tell you, that things which do not exist now in this world will be created for you. Imagination can be materialized. When you develop spiritually, you can materialize your thoughts. When you sit still and let your imagination go as far as you can into the realm of your cherished dreams and goals, and if you can hold your mind to one pointed concentration on the image of what you want to achieve, it will be shown to you in a true-to-life vision. And if you apply strong willpower to realizing that vision, ultimately it will manifest, healings can be effected, successes attained, disasters in your environment lessened or avoided, seemingly impossible needs or worthy wishes fulfilled. Your mind united with your soul is such a powerful dynamo of spiritual existence. And yet you don't utilize that power. Why shouldn't you? By increasing the intensity of your concentration and calmness, you can consciously realize your connection with the unlimited realm of the astral world. In meditation, when you think you are the calmest you can be, try to be even more calm. Gradually your consciousness will become attuned to that higher dimension. Get out of limiting material consciousness and you will see your mind's imaginings working to manifest all your wisdom-guided dreams through the universal underlying creative astral powers. Develop visualization. To develop mental imaging, I used to sit in a room and concentrate on visualizing everything in another unseen room, until my immediate surroundings disappeared and I was seeing in exact detail everything in the other room. By practice, develop proficiency in visualization, concentrating the mind's eye on what you wish to achieve, and to visualization, banishing any images that distract from what you are concentrating on. These powers of imagination, used together with the power of will, power of inner silence, power of concentration and opening of the spiritual eye, will lead you to the astral realm and increased ability to manifest your thoughts in material form. Such is the power of thought, the Lord's creative principle that brought everything in the universe into manifestation, first as causal ideas of consciousness, then as subtle light forms in the astral world, and then by materialization of those blueprints in the physical world. The spiritual eye, portal to the higher realms. As self-realization students know, when your spiritual eye is open in meditation, you see the astral light of the spiritual eye as a ring of golden radiance encircling a sphere of opalescent blue, and at the center, a five-pointed silvery white star. If you can penetrate that star, you are immediately in God's kingdom in the astral world. So learn to concentrate and meditate deeply. Though the spiritual man experiences the physical world and works through the instruments of the physical body, he does not identify himself with any sensation of the body, he is always centered in the spiritual eye. I never take my mind away from there, no matter what I am doing. Always look at spiritual eye. If you keep your mind there, the calming and spiritualizing influences flowing from the astral world will make you a different person than you are now. Don't have restless, shifty eyes. If your eyes are always distractedly looking everywhere, your mind is likewise wandering. Eyes that are constantly blinking reflect the consciousness of a nervous individual. Keep your mind calm and centered at this point between the eyebrows, not flitting restlessly in matter. Even when you are sleeping, your mind should be at that spiritual center. If your body and mind are still in meditation and you keep your gaze and attention turned upward to that point, you will experience the blessings of the astral world consciously. That is why saints in ecstatic communion are depicted with upturned gaze, looking up into heaven. By concentrating on the spiritual eye in deep meditation, one can penetrate into that higher dimension. Your astral body is there now, though your mind and physical body are here. You depend on what you can see with your two physical eyes, and that keeps you continually deluded. If you look into the spiritual eye, you will know the true nature of everything and can receive the right answers in business and all other matters. You can use this power all the time, it is unlimited within you. When you live at will in that astral world, you will be guided by the Supreme. Awake from delusion of matter. I am not giving you this lecture to make you mystical, or to stir in you a desire for the entertainment of phenomenal experiences and powers. The point is to awaken you from the delusion that you are a limited mortal, helplessly subject to the whims of physical existence. You live, move, breathe, act, because of your innate astral self and its powers flowing from God. This true incarnate nature is what I want you to realize and utilize. Know yourself as connected with the omnipotent source of your being. Imagine, affirm, will, meditate to realize your true self as the soul cloaked in a wonderful astral form of light and power. That thought alone, far from making you otherworldly, energizes your life and accomplishments in the here and now. How to be calm and happy. When I work, I concentrate on what needs to be done at that moment, I do it, then forget it until it needs my attention again. And if I can't do it, I don't let it distress me. Some people with their little home and little job are all the time worrying and nervous. Any person who is nervous is in the physical world. If you are calm and happy, you are in the astral world. Always work from the astral world, and as soon as the physical world starts to eat at your peace of mind, get away and retire into inner silence. If you develop the ability to live in interior quietness, you can remain in the calm state even in the midst of noise and discord. That ability shows the astral influence upon you. I can go to sleep at will, even if cannonballs were flying around me. That is why it is necessary to meditate and live more in the consciousness of the astral world. In the physical world there are so many difficulties that come along. You will go crazy trying to cope with your problems unless you can draw strength and guidance from the astral heaven within you. Just think when you were a child and had no worries. You were in heaven. But when you had to start out on your own, what troubles you had. The way to fly away from your material troubles is to have recourse to that astral world. Money does not make happiness. Having reasonable financial resources no doubt helps, but your first necessity is to have God. I could make myself crazy this minute thinking of all I have to do for this work. But there is a time for everything. My time with God comes first. I am ready to do everything for you, Lord, working day and night, but my happiness lies in my contact with you. I remain in His astral kingdom. That is my home. I am living on the earth just as a servant lives and works in the house of his employer. I know my home is elsewhere. Keep your mind at the spiritual eye. So must you live. Do not form attachments to this world. If you do, you are in for trouble. You are going to be sadly disappointed. This is not your home. The heavenly kingdom of God is your home. Live there now. No matter what you are doing, concentrate on your inner peace and calmness. Keep your mind at the spiritual eye, and keep your thoughts busy with God's thoughts. Meditate more, churn the ether with your prayers, until out of the silence the light of God appears. If you want to know God in this life, never go to bed at night until you have made contact with Him. If for one whole day and night you would pray and meditate, remaining in your room and not seeing anyone, intensely praying that God will come to you, He would definitely respond. But who is willing to give even that much time and effort? Such is delusion. The consciousness of outer duties and habitual restlessness takes precedence, and you remain attached and limited to the physical body and its world. Dear ones, do not forget the message you have received today, use it. Meditate deeply and regularly, until the spiritual eye is opened and you can fly through it to the astral kingdom. Remain always in the sphere of happiness born of meditation, no matter what happens. Live in the consciousness of astral freedom. Without fail you will be able to do this by devoted practice of the techniques of the Kriya Yoga science I have given to you. This world is a terrible dream. I hope you all realize this. To the last breath of my dream existence I shall tell you how to get out of this dream as soon as you can. Do not wait. For one evil thought may lead you to the valley of death, and one good thought may lead you to the kingdom of God. So get busy with yourself. Then, at the end of the trail of life, you will find the wonderful harmony, peace, and beauty of God. He is waiting for you. He is very much worried about you because He cannot free you without your cooperation. Concentrate on that great peace within you, and you will see all shadows of world limitations melt away, and that behind this motion picture of delusion, there is a heavenly astral world eternal. Every night in meditation, throw yourself at the feet of the Lord. From the depths of your heart, cry to Him. Cry for Him until your head and your heart seem to burst with longing for Him. You must come. Reveal thyself to me. If you do not give up, the Lord will come unto you. He will awaken you from this dream world and lift you to His bosom of eternal light, immortality, and freedom.
Thank you for watching and listening in wherever you are in the world. As Ramdas says that we all are just walking each other home. So thank you for co-creating the new earth along with me and our guests. And if you resonate with me, do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Lots of love.